This is Unit 2, Growth and Expansion, Note 3, Louisiana Purchase. It is found on page 6 of your packet. The first chance for the United States to expand was into the territory west of the Mississippi River, owned by France and known as Louisiana. By 1800, thousands of farmers had settled into territories west of the Appalachian Mountains, and they used the Mississippi River to transport their crops to the port at New Orleans. Thomas Jefferson offered to buy New Orleans from France. France instead offered all of Louisiana. So we offered to buy it for $7.5 million, just the port of New Orleans. They said they'll sell the whole thing for $15 million. That's because France needed money to fight the war against Britain. Thomas Jefferson really wanted to make that purchase, but he knew that he needed to ask Congress. So most Americans thought the offer from France was too good to refuse, but not everybody approved. Some felt that the U.S. should turn France down. The United States and the Constitution did not give the president power to buy land, and this troubled Jefferson greatly. So there were some positives. It was less than 3 cents an acre. It doubled the size of the country. It gave us complete control of the Mississippi River, and we got it without going to war. But some people were against the purchase because $15 million was still a lot of money, even though it was a good deal. It was a lot of land, and they were worried that we wouldn't be able to govern that land. And they knew that new states and new areas would share power in Congress, and some people weren't willing to give up the power that they had. And a lot of people felt that it was unconstitutional. Jefferson did not want to miss out on a historic opportunity. He did take his request to Congress, and in 1803, the Senate voted to approve or ratify the Louisiana Purchase. So Thomas Jefferson, the first vocab word there, is the third president of the United States, and he bought the Louisiana Territory from France. In the middle of your notes, you've got a when, who, how much, what about the Louisiana Purchase. So we bought it in 1803 from France for $15 million, and it doubled the size of the United States. We want you to color the Louisiana Territory yellow on your map. In 1804, President Jefferson ordered his private secretary, Meriwether Lewis, to lead an expedition into the new Louisiana Territory. Lewis chose his friend, William Clark, to help lead the 45-member expedition group. They called themselves the Corps of Discovery. Meriwether Lewis was chosen by the president to lead the expedition to explore the Louisiana Territory. The Lewis and Clark expedition started in St. Louis, Missouri, and followed the Missouri River to the Rocky Mountains. From there, the explorers made their way to the ocean. So Meriwether Lewis chose William Clark to join him on the expedition, and William Clark created maps and detailed journals of the expedition into Louisiana Territory. In the winter of 1804, the Lewis and Clark expedition had reached North Dakota. They stayed with the Mandan Indian tribe, and a French fur trader joined them. He brought his 16-year-old wife, Sacagawea, and their infant son. Sacagawea had been kidnapped from her Shoshone tribe as a child. She would help guide the Corps of Discovery through the Rocky Mountains and proved to be invaluable as a translator to other native tribes to the group encountered. Sacagawea is a 16-year-old guide and translator for the Corps of Discovery's expedition. Use a red pencil or a red marker or something to place the route traveled by the Corps of Discovery. It's on a dotted line on your map, so just trace it if you need to. The Lewis and Clark expedition mapped a route to the Pacific Ocean. It established relationships with American Indian tribes. Through this expedition, they also learned about Native people and wildlife living in the West, and they helped prepare the way for future explorers and settlers.